Dave Popkin, WBGO Studios. My guest is a talented blues and soul singer, a guitarist, a songwriter. His album Blues Without You was a big comeback and it topped many of the blues charts. This year, he has a terrific solo album, Heartbreak City, that was just released in June. And he has another good one that was just released about a week ago called The Blues Summit, which is led by Devin Allman. He's on the road supporting both of these projects, including August 19th at the Vogel, which is at the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank, New Jersey, and August 20th in Atlantic City. It's my pleasure to welcome Larry McCray to WBGO. How's it going, Larry?
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be talking. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Heartbreak City, fantastic. Second straight record that was co-produced by Joe Bonamassa, who we've had on this show, and Josh Smith as well. Two blues heavyweights, great players. They've been champions for you. What's it been like to work with them over the past several years?
Well, I've known both of those guys since right about in near the beginning of their careers. And as some things would have it, as life have it go, sometimes success is not something you can whip up a batter and say, okay, this is success, and everybody gets some of this. It's a hit and miss situation. With careers in that. And my career took off at a good rate, and for a decent while, everything was good. It took a nosedive, and it took those young guys 20, 25 years younger than me to bring me back, man. So you know, that's how it happens sometimes. But that's how it happened in my case.
Right, you had some terrific albums through the 90s and then had a gap there of about 7 years where you didn't have a record out. What was like a low point for you or a point where you questioned yourself that now makes this success seem all the sweeter?
Well, because as I was speaking about it before, in musical careers, you can have so many things that affect your success rate or your success level. And I had a lot of problems with management, and went through some personal problems and lost musicians, in death, that type of thing. So when you have several things like that hitting at you, sometimes it can break your spirit, and it can just make it seem like, hey, maybe I need to try a new situation, or that is no good outcome to come from a situation like that. So I endured, quite a bit. I had health problems. I'm a cancer survivor since 15, and went through a pretty notable divorce, that type of thing. I mean, just everything that could go wrong looked like it did go wrong for a while.
Well, it sounds like the only thing that can good thing that can come out of that is a lot of good blues songs.
You got it. That's a good place to start anyway, huh?
You got a bunch of them on here. You got seven songs that you co-wrote on Heartbreak City, and all the songs on here are strong. How personal are they, and how much are they about your life right now?
Well, I always try to put a certain personal stamp on my music, because I think the truth is the truth. And you can't write about the truth writing about somebody else's experiences, or fabricating things or creating scenarios, although that's okay, for some people. But for me, I like to write about what I live, because I think that it's the common ground and the common bond what brings people together. Who can't relate with heartbreak, or being broke, loneliness, all these type of things. So I mean, the difference is how you see it. It's not necessarily what you're seeing, but it's the way that you see it. And as musicians, we have to try to find ways to be unique, and that gives our own style some type of distinguishable character. When you write and present your music to the public. That's my opinion. It's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, totally. And it works for you. And the first single off the record is Bye Bye Blues, one of your best ever. Love that song. and
Thank
it's
you.
universal enough that people could just easily interpret it as a romance and somebody helped bring you back and a song of redemption, but it could also be read another way, like maybe you met a friend or you got into a situation where this has really helped me out and helped my life. When you wrote it and now when you're performing it, what's your perspective on it?
Well, I mean, it was definitely a thing of sentiment for me, for my sweetheart. I told you about I went through a bad divorce, and ever since that, I've had this woman in my life. Things have skyrocketed to a new level. So I'm 65 years old, and I never had a good woman in my life. Somebody that supported me and loved me for me. So this is my first time, and she got me singing about it.
Well, bless her heart, because it's to our benefit.
And also she's my musical partner. I mean, we write songs together. So, that's another thing that makes it kind of special for us.
Sure, sure. um, some of the other musicians that you're collaborating with on the record, um, some big time musicians, right? They're in the Bonamassa universe. Kirk Fletcher, Reese Winans, Calvin Tucker, Lamar Carter, all those guys are regulars in his band. I think they're all playing on "Keep on Loving My Baby," which is a
Yeah.
one on the new album. I guess it's a real luxury to be able to play with cats like that.
Oh man, for sure. I mean, when you got it like that, it ain't nobody to blame but you if something go wrong. If you screw it up yourself, then look in the mirror. You know what I mean? So they make it a lot easier, but it's also shifts all the pressure on you to not screw it up. There's nobody to blame if it don't come out right. It's your problem.
What's your take on where the record is right now, the response either from the critics, from the fans, where it's put you in your career?
Well, it's hard for me to estimate that in terms of what it does for the career and all them things. But I can say that all the reviews and all the critics, everything have been absolutely positive, and so I'm very happy for that. And I've been making some playlists, and being played on XM radio and well, Sirius radio and stuff like digital radio now. Whether before it was always hard to get in there for some reason, it was always a reason why we can't play your music or you didn't make the playlist or whatever. But this time things have been totally different, and I think since I changed my management, also that it has been a dark cloud that has lifted. That was pertinent and in my career, the whole situation for about 30 years, about 33 years. So I mean, them type of changes, finally I did something right. It was right because it's been accepted and the people have seemed to embrace it.
Let's go back to Joe B for a second.
Uh-huh.
Joe Bonamassa, noted player, collector, producer, has a Keeping the Blues Alive Foundation, a record label. I mean, this is a guy out there that's, putting his money where his mouth is in terms of trying to keep this music alive. How can you estimate what he's meant to not only you, but other artists, in a similar position that he's helped their careers?
Well, I mean, I would say everybody that's involved in his labels, regardless, Joe has a couple of labels going on. I don't exactly know how that works, but I do know the artists that are on there, and everyone that's on there seems to be having a resurgence of career. It's all veteran musicians, people like Dion and Jimmy Hall, myself, Joanne Connor. I've known her for 30 years. Joanne Shaw Taylor. All these people are veteran musicians that have been around for a long time, and it seems as though there was a period when that it wasn't much going on for people of our genre in the recording business. And with the all the format changes, the streamings, and all the different stuff now, they made it a lot tougher for musicians to make a living on just the music. But then they made it a lot easier to become known and to become popular which helps at your live gate when you do finally make it through town. If you got somebody doing a little bit of advertisement for you, along with all the streaming and the publicity that's available now with social media. So the game have totally changed, but once you get adjusted and learn how to make it work, I think there's a potential always to do better and to go to new levels. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, and there's a tremendous amount of great blues artists out there, like the ones you mentioned. You also mentioned Jimmy Hall. He's on this Devin Allman Blues Summit project with you and
Mm-hmm.
Sierra Green.
Mm-hmm.
Kingfish makes an appearance on there. Robert Randolph,
Yeah.
some really good players.
I
And
thought
that
Eric
one just
Gales was gonna be on there. I guess he didn't make it.
who was going to be on?
Eric Gales.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah. No, he's one of the best. Like we've had him on here as well.
Uh-huh.
It just seems like a fun record to make. People are clapping their hands and singing in the background and dueling guitars and horn sections and all kinds of stuff going on. It just seems like a fun blues record to do.
Well, you know what? I really for a long time in my career, I was always chasing success. When Stevie Ray came out, everybody chases Stevie's tip. When Robert Cray hit, everybody chased him. Then you had some young men come out. You had a Kenny Wayne Shepherd, you had a Johnny Lane. Then you had some females that So if when you're trying to find your own success, when other people are being successful around you, it tends to make you want to pay attention and see if it's something in their wheelhouse that maybe you can add to yours that will give you a better opportunity. But on this record, I really did just forget about all that, and I just went to what I know. And from now on, I hear that's what I plan on doing. I'm no longer chasing anybody else. I'm just going to try to be the best me that I can be.
That's working great. You guys are going out on a national tour that just started with Devin Allman. Um, Response to the album is good already. It just came out in late July. Um,
Uh-huh.
I saw one story that said that you were once working on the General Motors assembly line. How long did you do that, and what did you learn from the experience?
Well, I went fresh from high school to General Motors, and I stayed in there until I was 30. And after I had worked 12 years on the assembly line, it became clearer and clearer to me that I wanted a career in music and I wanted to try music. The thing with me with music is that music was something that my family did for a family pastime. I was raised up in Smackover, Arkansas, a little really rural country town. The only thing they had there was a 60-mile wide oil pool. That was the biggest oil pool in the country at the time. We didn't know it because the people were so poor that lived there. All the money was being taken out of that place. But you know, living in a community like that, it's all about work or either school. When you're a young person context. So when our work was done, we would even get a chance to play sports. But my big sister and my dad and my grandma had already introduced us all into music. So I have four other siblings that play music also. I have a drummer brother, a bass player brother, and two horn playing brothers. So I mean, we had a lot of music in the house. It was not properly studied music. It was just music being made from the heart. You know what I'm saying? And everybody taught themselves how to play an instrument, just I guess, out of boredom and nothing else to do.
Well, it's in the genes, and it's fun to do that. To play with your siblings, and it becomes part of you.
Right?
Um, you have played with a Mount Rushmore of the blues, in different configurations. I'd just like to throw a couple names out at you and
Okay.
have you, do a quick reply, maybe a quick remembrance about somebody or a little story about
Okay.
when you met them or played with them, something like that.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Albert Collins.
Albert Collins. I met the Iceman It must have been somewhere around about 88. And I met him and Sherman Roberts at the same time. And believe it or not, I met him in St. Louis, right here where I'm at right now. And so me and my band, we were on tour. It used to be a club here called Mississippi Nights. And so this was just before we had joined up with our Point Blank Records. I had known Johnny B. Gaden from Chicago. And when I finally got a chance to meet and hang out with Albert, man, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life because Albert Collins, Freddie King, Albert King, and B.B. King was my blues Bible. And Albert was the prince, and the rest fell in line, in order like that. But at that time it was very intimidating because I thought, you don't know somebody like that, you don't know what they're gonna be. But he was the sweetest and the nicest guy out of any of the big profile players that I ever met. When I did my first major tour. I was the open up act for Gary Moore on the Still Got the Blues. But Albert King and Albert Collins had songs on the record, so they were his walk on guests. So I got a chance to charm and hang out with all four of them at one tour.
Hmm.
And so it really was life changing, and I'll never forget it. But Albert Collins was always the nicest guy in the world and made you feel like that, you had known him all your life.
That Still Got the Blues album from around 90, something like that, 1990.
1990, yes, sir, it was.
One of my favorites for sure.
Yeah,
Let's talk
Gary
about Albert King a little bit.
Albert King. That was probably one of my favorite of all of them. I mean, Albert's style was harder to emulate than the other three because of the bends that he used, his wide bends, and Albert would always leave a little bit of flexibility in his tuning. He wouldn't tune perfect, and he left it that way, so he had the liberty to do those little tricky, springy thing that he does that makes his style unique. And a hell of a guy. And he used to always like to poke you to keep you on your toes. He would always say something to let you know, hey, I'm watching you. Stay on your toes. But Albert was also the type of guy that if he didn't like you, he gave you no time at all. He didn't have no time for nothing that he wasn't favorable of, or if anybody made him feel like they didn't appreciate him. So he was my inspiration. And when I came back from doing the Gary Moore tour, the first big tour I ever did, I picked up a Flying V guitar in tribute to Albert King. So when I first got a chance to talk to him, he said, "Hey, let me see your little guitar." I said, "Albert, it ain't nothing special about it. It's, oh, let me see your little guitar. I got a whole garage full of them things." He said, "I don't want your guitar." But he was quite charming. He was quite charming, but he was definitely a person that didn't hold his tongue. And if you didn't approach him right, he didn't have nothing for you. But I've never had a problem with that because I'm Southern raised, and I never had a problem with showing a little respect to the other man because if you want respect, you got to give a little. So I never had a problem with that.
How about BB?
BB, I call him the elegance of the blues, and I got a chance to do a lot of work with BB through the '90s. And he's another one. He was just a gentleman. BB was always very kind and had time for everybody. I have seen a couple hundred people line up to get a chance to talk to BB or to have some sign, and he took care of everyone. He never cut the line short and said, "Okay, that's it. I'm not going to do no more." He signed and greeted everybody that came to see him, and I mean, it just was something to be learned from all those old veterans, man. And I don't see the same camaraderie sometimes today, in terms of the musicians today in comparison to what it was like 20, 30 years ago.
Right. Uh, One time I did see some a good camaraderie recently was a BB King disciple, DK Harrell. Um,
Yeah,
he had Chris Kane out and Albert Castiglia in like a Three Kings, Blood Brothers kind of a formation. I think they called it Three Kings. And
yeah,
he seems like he's the mayor. You know what I mean? He seems like he loves everybody.
yeah, he does. He does. That's a good kid. DK is a nice guy.
Yeah, yeah, terrific singer as well, player. All right, I'll give you one more name, Buddy Guy.
Buddy Guy, wow, the king of Chicago. And I mean, Buddy had his stint with Muddy Waters, and everybody in Chicago reveres Buddy. But I think the thing that all of the people like my generation, all the ones behind Buddy, can learn something from him in terms of his stage command. Buddy was always one of the best at commanding the stage, and he had the people right here in the palm of his hands all the time. He knows how to present himself on stage, and I think he's one of the best at doing it.
For sure. I just saw him at Legends during his residency in Chicago,
Last
and
year,
this
uh
year,
huh, uh huh.
yeah, and he was walking around. He was playing a solo with one hand. He had cognac in the other hand. He was walking through the audience. He walked out onto the street because it was wireless. He's playing out there and he keeps changing songs. He's playing like White Room and then he goes into like something else. It was like he was in total command. And the guy's like 89 years old. It's amazing.
Yeah, oh yeah, and he's been doing that for how many years, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
One more. What is still the most fun for you? What do you most enjoy about the business?
I enjoy my time on the stage. All the in betweens, the trying to convince people that you're good enough and convince people to come in and see that gets tiring. So I changed up what I say anymore. I don't tell anybody that I'm good. I don't tell anybody anything to the effect. What I say is that you people are familiar with what I do and what I have. I say if you like what I got, I'm more than willing to share it all with you. And if you want what I got, come on in, pull up a chair. And I want it to feel just like I'm at home in my living room. I want to take the stage effect and all the awe and that aura. I want that all gone. I want to feel like I'm personable, and I want to feel like I'm totally relaxed and we just having fun, just sitting around the house. That's my favorite.
That's a good way to be. You don't need to tell
Mm-hmm.
everybody that you're great. I'll tell them. Larry McCray's
Oh,
great. Go see him.
thank you, my brother.
He'll be at the Vogel in Red Bank August 19th. Mardi Gras AC in Atlantic City. That's August 20th with the Devon Allman Blues Summit. He also has some solo dates coming up. His Heartbreak City album is available. You should definitely check it out. The Blues Summit album just came out and that is doing well. Larry, congratulations on all your success and the great music that you put out there. I really appreciate all your time.
Thank you so much. I want to let you know one other thing too,
Yeah,
that we do have a BB King tribute that's going to be coming out, and so it's going to be a lot of special guests on there. It's produced by Joe and Josh also. I have a spot on there, so keep your eyes out for that one. It's BB's birthday this year. What it is, his 100th this year,
yeah,
and so it's all about the tribute to BB King. So that one is coming too, coming down the pipe.
fabulous. Can't wait. Thanks so much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Okay, Larry McCray joining us here on WBGO.